knowing about Amos.
All right, thanks you guys for coming. This is a RAC-funded project, a grant that the CRB's Trail Stewardship wrote. And the purpose of the grant was to improve watershed, improve economy, the local economy, and restore these trails up here to something a little more usable. The biggest thing, that's the most important thing when we do grants and do trail projects, is volunteerism. And grants are a lot more competitive if you can come to a grant board and say, look, we have 20% of this is going to be funded by volunteers from our own community. It shows a couple things. It shows a better bang for the buck, or a better value to the people holding the grant funds. It also shows community involvement, which is really critical. When they see community involvement, when people write letters to the editor and talk about the work that's being done, it really creates a lot of energy that we can continue doing these projects. I should also mention that the Forest Service has been really cooperative with us. Pandora, where did she?
Over there.
Raise your hand. Taking pictures. The Forest Service has been a partner in these projects. We couldn't do it without their support. But we do bring a lot of energy and some funding to these projects. And if you guys out there have projects that you might be interested in the local community, we need to know about those. You can grab a brochure or get a card from any of us. We're all board members here. And join our group at sierratrails.org. Again, when we go in for grants, if we can show a lot of membership level, a high membership level, a lot of volunteerism. We've had volunteer days that are, what was our record day, Greg?
63 people.
63 people on a single day for volunteers. We had a day right on this trail here that was well over 30 people. And we all have, most of us have cards we can give you that have like the next trail days that are coming up.
We have a trail day October 13th too that's going to be focused on Lakes Basin as well. So once this trail is complete, we're going to be moving up to Long Lake and reestablishing the trail bed from the spillway up, which has kind of gotten sloughed off over the years. So we'll be reestablishing that, and there's some environmental studies that are being done on Mount Elwell and Smith Lake, which we hope to have complete for next year, so that we can start working on those two trails next year. So those are trails that are already funded through the RAC committee, and then we have some upcoming projects through some of the maps that were over there, which are Round Lake and Silver Lake, and then another section along, as well as a project that Brett Marty's been putting together for the Nelson Creek. And the community pathway down in Graygle. So we have a lot of stuff going on. It's probably easiest to go to our website to get a bigger picture of what we're up to.
There's also brand new trails planned. On Mills Peak, we've flagged, mapped a GPS, a 7.5 mile route that goes from the Gold Lake end of Mohawk Chapman Road all the way to the summit. The environmental study is essentially complete. There's a few details to take care of on that, but we hope to have the actually 100% completed, and we'll be looking for funding for the actual construction of that trail. We have partial funding that we use for the planning process of making sure that we had funds to do an environmental study, which is required on a new project. And that, like I said, is almost finished. There's some archaeology sites up there that are pretty fascinating, and we're real careful about avoiding those sites. So once they're identified, we'll adjust the trail so it doesn't impact any of the cultural heritage sites.
Tell about the view, both sides of the ridge.
It's a nice view. A lot of blood was shed because of the brush. We had on double Carhartt pants and long sleeves and gloves, and we still came back bloodied somehow because there's a brushy section there that was just about impossible to get through, but we managed, and or we guessed. And there's a lot of crawling around, walking on top of brush, but you get up on the ridge, it follows the general ridge line, which is a historic pathway that was used that goes from, again, Mohawk Chapman Road right up to the very summit of Mills Peak. So it's pretty fascinating. The views obviously are incredible, and it's also exciting to see, a brand new project be built. Something that's, Lake Basin is very well loved. There's lots of trails here. They're very rugged. This will be a more moderate trail as far as how steep it is. It's designed to be very sustainable. But it will still be, it'll be a 2,600 foot climb, so it'll still be a substantial effort to get to the top, which is great for, you can go as far as you want. I guess one last thing is we should introduce everybody on the board.
For people too that have been up here hiking, you've probably seen, this is Anders Dupin, this is Eric Johnson, and they've been incredible workers out here, and just want to give it up to those guys. So as far as board members, this is Nika, this is Eric, obviously I'm Greg,
I'm Ron.
Brett,
Wayne. We should also add that Greg Williams here is our fearless leader who's drawn us all into this. We should give Greg a round right here. Probably the crazy enough to start this stuff. So. Yeah. I think it's time for ribbon cutting.
So once we cut the ribbon, Eric and Anders will both be kind of going out there and hiking. We have some interpretive signs. They'll be talking about some of the techniques that we use to reduce erosion, to get the water off the trail. Some of the armoring that took place. This trail gets a lot of horseshoes, so some of the armoring was pretty substantial to make sure that it's going to hold up. So
I just want to say something as the Forest Service representative here, that this work wouldn't happen without these guys, because declining budgets, this wouldn't happen. We are so appreciative, and they do a great job. So we really like it.
Before you cut that, Greg, hold on. One more thing.
It is. Lake Basin, I can tell you, the campers that come here appreciate all your work. I gave Ron a little note today. There's a lady had her 3-year-old granddaughter. She took her on this trail, had no problem at all, and she gave me $10 to give him.
Every penny helps. Everybody should meet Jane at the campground. She's the best campground host in the whole forest, as far as I'm concerned.
One more thing that you never could overlook is that we couldn't have the opportunity to work on trails if people didn't come out and enjoy them. So hands for you guys too.
Yeah.
Don't like that applause.
Alright, everybody get the cameras ready.
Hey, Sully, come on, what's the deal here?
Okay, we're cut.
All right, perfect. Put them up.
There you go.
Stand on the other side. Stand on the other side. Guys, stand on the other side.